Well, hey gang, it's me, Manny from Toy Soldiers Forever. Welcome to my backyard. And I thought, why don't we take another tour of the Toy Soldier Studio? Um, I moved into this house in 2006, and I started working on this studio then. And when I first moved into this place, it was very much like my woodshed. Let's take a look at the woodshed here. It's nothing spectacular. And the Toy Soldier Studio, when I started this project, looked just like this. It was just raw studs. And so, oh, and one whole portion of the exterior wall was missing. They used to run their motorcycles in and out of there, the previous owners. So, what I was left with was this little shed that was full of motor oil drippings and bird droppings and leaves and spider webs and rotting lumber. It was all exposed to the elements. So, with much pounding and much construction and much hitting my thumb, um, I've spent the last, since 2006 years transforming this. With this last project that I did over the past 2 weekends, I think it's complete. So let's go take a look. Here as we come up to it, we've got my nice rose bushes, which look beautiful this spring. I've got these two cast iron door guards, these wonderful cast iron cannons. My happy Hessian is also guarding the place. And let's go in. All right, here we are. Here's the interior of the Toy Soldier Studio. Now, just to get oriented here, this is the project that I did over the past 2 weekends. This work surface and cabinet. This whole corner used to just be a hodgepodge of cast off furniture. Now it's actually functional, and I'll be able to use it on projects like I'm gearing up to convert some of these W. Britton's figures. I've got a lot of duplicate Confederates here, so I'm going to paint them up to look unique. And similarly, the Zouaves in the background, the New York Zouaves, I'm going to paint to look like our 114th PA Zouave in the foreground. So that might drive you Britain's collectors ballistic, but yeah, I do make modifications. Oh, and up here, over the workbench, that is the submachine gun that I won World War II with in my backyard of Burton, Michigan. Thing still works too. I have a lot of antique paper soldiers in here. We got my crazy skull collection, the little wooden bridge that I made in my wood shop. This accommodates my 54 and 60 millimeter soldiers. The trusty bulletin board. Over here, I've got miscellaneous stuff in bags just to look groovy, and toy soldiers that my wife got me. These wonderful Britons, my Union flag, Lincoln and Liberty. And over here, I've got some toy soldiers in yoga positions that my wife got me. I've got some replica Civil War headgear, the trusty Marks Colt in here. This is the type I had as a kid. Similarly, this Topper Johnny Eagle Lieutenant 1911-45 is the same that I had as a kid. This I got on eBay, and that's where people of my age buy their childhoods back. This cool tin kind of folk arty World War II plane that I got at the antique mall. A nutcracker that a friend made of me that is supposed to be me. I think it is. The toy soldier table, the small toy soldier table, the big ones in my basement. But this is where I'm alpha testing the Battle of Guam, experimenting with jungle and bamboo groves, things like that. Battle of Guam stuff is being staged over here. We see a lot of stuff is primed It needs to be painted. Some things are still in a state of being assembled, but eventually this Battle of Guam thing is going to happen. Now, the last big project that I did out here were these cabinets. That was all open, and everything under there was exposed, and it looked pretty cluttered, and I didn't like it. So I just built some sliding doors to go in front. And see these little knobs, these wonderful little wooden knobs? Well, please note, this one is completely different. I took that knob from an abandoned building that I was in recently. It was in Crescent, Pennsylvania, and was the old tuberculosis sanitarium where my father spent his 9th year. He was 9 years old. He had TB back when the survival rate was only about 40%, and he went there and got cured. And back then, if you survived, they did it with fresh air, good food, and plenty of rest. So that's the little story behind that knob. It's a wonderful personal story for me. Hey, back to the tour. Here are my William Britton's guys from Ohio, of a 50-man regiment from Ohio, a 50-man Iron Brigade, 24th Michigan, a 60-man regiment of Confederates from Texas, and another 60-man regiment from Virginia. So I got my Britons pretty well covered, and also I'm making a 20-man regiment of Zouaves, like the ones I was talking about over on the workbench. I already showed you my Marx Lumar atomic cannon. Well, here's the one I wanted as a kid but never got, and that's the large version of the Johnny Reb cannon. I was a Michigan boy, so no stars and bars for me. A little wooden battleship that I made, the old reliable Marx wind-up tank, pillbox that I'm working on for the Battle of Guam. Pardon my quick panning. Carbide cannon, which still works. Little homemade World War I goofy cannon. A couple more Marx howitzers. And back of that are Frederick Ray prints that I got as a little kid when my dad and I went to Gettysburg. And similarly, that was the trip at which I got a fabulous hat like that one, which got ruined when I left it out in the rain. These are all BMC buildings that I either modified a little or a lot. I have more of them in the toy soldier area in the basement. There's a Rodman gun, a 14-inch Rodman gun. I made that out of wood in my wood shop, and I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. Let's see, what else do I have to show you? I've got these little Franklin Mint Civil War guys. I got them for a song at the local antique mall. More Frederick Ray prints, various makers of plastics, which I don't really collect anymore. I have a very large collection of Britain's artillery pieces. I really like these, and they're all shooters, and they all shoot pretty good. And then we have the Premier cannons. Now, this is a Japanese company, and they are a knockoff of Britain's and other products, and these things are really good shooters. You cock it, you open the breech, put the projectile in, pull the lanyard. And man, I think this one shoots, I was getting like 26 feet off this thing, which is pretty fabulous. Then the arsenal of my childhood. You'll recognize some of these. Yes, these are all toys. 3 of which I had as a kid. And back up here is another display case. I have the old Britain's, I think these are Swappets Civil War Confederates, with a very nice Whitworth gun that I teamed them up with. A larger old Lindbergh 6-pounder, which is really nice. More of these antique guys. A 6-gun battery. and it is crewed by a variety of makes of soldiers, including a lot of Britons. Both the limbers and all 6 guns are Britons. And then we have the wonderful Britons, limber, and gun up at the top. So I think that's a pretty good tour of the old Toy Soldier Studio. It's a wonderful space to be in. It's air conditioned, which is great this time of year. And as I said, I proclaim the Toy Soldier Studio complete. But I think I've said that before. Okay, gang, there's your little tour. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. And until next time, soldier on.